Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring 2019. And thankfully, I am not solo casting because we have chained LS to the desk. That is the only reason why he's still here after we've proven that we're basically picking MVPs out of a hat at this point in time.
They're rolling the die. You can't argue with the die.
So BeryL was about as robbed as Deft was, with much less on the line.
How did ShowMaker get it?
I don't know. I don't know, man. There's some weird stuff going on.
You can't make this up.
I don't know, dude. Thankfully, this means nothing, right? Like it's like we're throwing a few hundred points around at the bottom of the MVP standings. Like that's what we're doing. However, it's pretty sad. Let's go into ban and pick to try and draw our minds away from MVP rankings, because at the moment it's just making me sad. And KT fans, they're also going to be feeling a little bit sad. They're going to have to win back-to-back games. They do have the red side here, and no subs are going to come in. DAMWON are going to keep all of their players, and no Kingen going to be moving in, no Umti, no nothing like that. I would have potentially liked to see Zenit, I think, moving over to a hyper carry like the Sivir that he's very good at. Could be a good idea. The KT are going to ban away the Sylas, meaning that BDD might have a little bit more agency in game number 2. Only time will tell whether that's actually true or not, because we know Sylas is a good champion. He just didn't do very much in game 1.
Well, Lissandra is still on the table. DAMWON now banning away the Kennen.
Wow, a lot of respect given over to Smeb. And does the Jace actually get banned here in response? It is. That's going to be off the board, but Ryze is available.
And Ryze, yeah.
I just pick Ryze, right? Like, because then you can deny Lissandra in the mid lane by switching it over to ShowMaker if you want to.
Yeah.
But looks like Canyon is interested in the Rek'Sai.
Canyon decided that because he got put into the ground, he wants to just live there instead, and so that's why he's picking the Rek'Sai to navigate the tunnels that KT put him into last game, so he's definitely going to be in his element this game, Atlas.
You've had some good jokes today, but that was my personal favorite so far. Well, KT are now looking for their bottom lane in theory.
You know my personal favorite?
Oh,
yes.
MVP. Yes, I do know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my favorite joke. My second best one was ShowMaker. Those are my favorites.
I wish that I once again wish we had caster cam during this, because they could see in your face that you're actually dying inside. It sounds like jovial laughter, but actually this is a man being turned into a husk without any feeling.
Oh man.
Well, the Ryze is actually going to be considered over here on KT's side and locked away. I like it a lot. We'll be able to deny Nuguri heading towards his Vladimir potentially, and the Lissandra is more difficult to lock away.
Yeah. And so now, do you actually pick the Lissandra in the face of Ryze? And
well, I mean, ShowMaker has an MVP-worthy LeBlanc, so probably pick that.
Probably, yeah. I mean, who am I to even consider? Right.
Instead, they're going to prioritize the Tahm Kench for some reason.
Yeah, I don't
really
know why.
Strange.
I mean,
okay, that's enough of that.
Didn't seem to work out that well last game.
BeryL was a godsend in game number 1. He was absolutely fantastic. And Nuclear is thinking about the Jinx. We know in other regions, Jinx is much higher priority than she is here in the LCK, where it's
maybe
basically...
Maybe we'll get Cog or Twitch.
Maybe. But Ashe would be the obvious choice.
Looks like they just want to continue on with that neutralizing bottom lane.
Yep.
And now, will KT actually try to abuse it? Maybe they'll flip a coin and go for Lucian Braum and try to get ahead early.
This is something that DWG actually played already, the Rek'Sai Ashe combination with Tremor Sense and Hawkshot, meaning that you basically have free vision absolutely everywhere. It is Black Sheep Wall is being put into the chat, basically. That's how that one works. Is KT thinking about putting SnowFlower back on the Gargoyle, but they decide in the end to hold the door. And Braum is going to be locked in. A much more powerful bottom lane, and I believe, personally, I just like Braum into the Tahm Kench more than that of the Galio. Yes, Galio affects an AoE better, but if Braum can get on top of the Tahm and get the concussive blows procs on him, it's much more difficult for the Tahm Kench to deal with it.
Have to see what KT want to ban away here now. I suppose that you pinch the top lane champion pool.
Wow, still banning the Vladimir even though they have the Ryze. That is a lot of respect to Nuguri.
And now DAMWON Gaming probably just pinch the jungler pool.
Could do that.
The only thing that would really make that much sense is the Ryze is very flexible. J4 going to be banned away. This is a little bit interesting. Rek'Sai fares pretty well into him, and then you have Tahm Kench. He can eat anyone out who gets cataclysmed, unless Tahm himself gets cataclysmed, but
then he's got a flash. He should be fine.
Yep.
Can make a new flash with his spellbook that he can unseal if wanted. KT, 2 seconds to go, and will be the LeBlanc banned away, giving respect to our MVP in the mid laner of ShowMaker. And DAMWON, do they stay with the jungle pool? I think that that could be a good idea. What you ban is a question mark, as could be that Score wants to head to something like a Kha'Zix that he's picked in the past to go toe-to-toe aggression-wise in the early game, or could just be something like a Sejuani. And the Aurelia is going to be the decision here, just to make sure that she can't be counterpicked. Last pick, we've seen this a lot actually from teams on the blue side wanting to deny the potential lock-in of that Aurelia.
Ooh, Akali.
I'd like Aatrox here if Score is going to be playing it.
We'll have to see here if this will be a jungle Aatrox. It does conceal everything. Okay, the Olaf not so much, but I guess what they want to do with the Olaf is they want to guarantee 3 winning lanes for themselves, although it is a little bit difficult against the Ashe Tahm Kench.
Yeah, it's almost like you're priced into not being able to necessarily roll over the top of that lane, but Braum and Lucian are going to do okay. Where do you put the Ryze is then the question here on KT's mind, and definitely on DAMWON's mind as well, as they have to round out their roster. Akali locked in, still a flex pick. Do they double flex here? The answer looks to be potentially no, as Fiora would certainly be going towards the top side, but would be a very aggressive decision.
Gangplank, and there's no counters really that still exist against him.
And this is Nuguri's Gangplank as well. He is known for this champion before even making his way into the LCK. He's a phenomenal Gangplank player, but more scaling. Let's go with Kayle, and we've blown up LS's brain. It is exploding once again. Just calling out for some caster cams. And now, what is this from Smeb? Could be the Jack's decision. You can see he's got a bit of a grin on his face. 9 seconds to go. As Camille could be the choice.
That's an interesting pick.
All right, there we go. An option into Kayle, actually, is to take Olaf towards the top lane.
And just run at her?
And just run at her. That's exactly right.
You run her down?
Mm-hmm. You run it down.
There we go. Lucian jungle.
Ah, that's it. Score going back to his roots. I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay, well, KT are showing that they have no interest in this game going late, as the Camille, Ryze, and Lucian are all looking to lane kingdom across the board. DAMWON with the Kayle. I am so excited to be front row and center here with you, Atlas.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this champion that the first time we saw it did amazing things, and then struggled would be the nice way of putting it.
Couldn't quite close it out.
Yeah.
With the easiest of times.
Yeah, couldn't quite. Just
from
what we've seen is that Kayle's great champion in the early game. Just doesn't quite get things done in the late game. Thanks, Fnatic, for showing us that one. Nemesis finishing a game as Kayle.
22 minutes.
With a quadrant. 22 minutes. Feels good, man.
Penta. You got the Penta.
Did he?
Yeah, I believe it's the first official
Penta.
Oh, right,
yes, it was.
Kayle.
It was. Yeah.
Kayle, Rek'Sai, Akali, Ashe, and Thomas Kench. I'm really not sure what they're supposed to do to try to weather the storm in the early phases of the game. There was enormous amounts of pressure on Canyon on the Rek'Sai. But on the flip side for KT, Lucian, Braum, Ryze, Olaf, and Camille. If this team composition goes later, it's going to basically come down to the Ryze and Camille show.
Yeah. If they can get the work done, and Smeb and BDD will be a two-man wrecking crew, be able to single someone out and beat them down pretty comfortably. But KT need to get to that point in order to make that one happen. It is all on the line now. Do or die for KT. KT fans, you can hear the desperation in their cries. As Smeb and SnowFlower hanging out here towards the top side, and Nuguri is going to have to leave. Right, Kayle, the decision to be made. As level 16 turns into an airship from the Avengers.
All right, well, Canyon has become one with the ground. after game number 1. So we'll have to see what this Rek'Sai can do here in game number 2.
Gonna check out some of these runes here as well. It is going to be the Klepto, of course, picked up by Nuguri. That is the choice, just because you can cheat your way for a few skill points, which is how you activate your Ascendancy using your passive. So it means level 10 is when you can get yourself the level 11 proc, and level 15 could be where you get the level 16 proc, which does become very relevant if it happens. We saw it happen for Nuguri last time. See whether he can do it again.
Looks like KT gonna start things off on the right foot here, going for an invade of the blue, guaranteeing that scores in close proximity to Smeb up there in the top lane.
Cool thing is that nothing's really given away here as well. You don't necessarily know that Smeb is coming from the blue buff with the way that he moves back in, because he could have just been leashing for the red, right? So see whether Smeb is going to be able to put the pressure onto Nuguri that he wants to before Nuguri gets to raid boss status on the Kayle. I feel like that's the kind of like analysis that I want to be making, but it just seems to be biting us in the butt so often, with Kayle's just getting given early games for free. Here, there, and everywhere. As BeryL eats a Winter's Bite for Canyon. Good guy, BeryL. He gets denied an MVP, but he's still playing.
I can feel it. I can feel the victory for DAMWON.
Yeah?
Might not have anything to do with Kayle, but I can feel it.
You can?
Yeah,
All right.
Canyon has become 1, as I mentioned.
Aha.
And already
it's all
here,
about junglers, isn't it? Every single time. We may as well just have a 1v1 of junglers.
I like that.
Everyone else can go home.
Well, here in game number 2, Canyon is already at a little bit of a disadvantage, as he had a hiccup in his pathing. He's going to get to that wolf camp a little bit later. We'll also see if he ends up clearing the whole camp. If he does, that'll cause the rubber band camp to spawn. Nuguri doing quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, he was fighting a whole bunch of minions and a Nuguri at the same time, which is where you fall down just a little bit, but he has a gigantic minion wave. Nuguri hasn't been necessarily farming, he's been trying to get Klepto proc, which certainly is a fun minigame, as Smeb gets a decent stun there, but still the minions are a little bit frightening, and he's ran out as far as corrupting potion charges are concerned.
Kayle on her last potion as well. A score is now here. And the wave is in a pretty good spot for KT.
Yeah.
Unsure if Nuguri is reading this correctly.
Does he actually go for this CS is the question. He's going to give one of them up, and the back is going to get channeled. So score is going to go home. Nuguri's going to do the same. Ships in the night here. Good top lane ascents from Nuguri. Sometimes bites off more than he can chew. This time not going to be one of those cases. But here on the bottom side of the map, it's once again really dangerous times. Priority here firmly in the hands of DAMWON, and Nuclear is denying a lot of farm here from Gango. Gango, it feels like as soon as he doesn't have his Draven, it's a very different player.
Yeah. Pretty good way of putting it, as they are down almost 10 CS in the bottom lane here.
With no jungler presence at all, and just a little bit of control going over to DAMWON, so just a little bit sad there. Smeb's doing a great job topside, with Nuguri having a large wave to clear up. Still is good news is, okay, that's a reckless swing. Is BeryL very early flash to try and get to Canyon, and they will be able to get the first blood. ShowMaker trying to survive, but he's also taking a lot of damage as the undertow. It does register, but they're not able to dive just yet.
And I'm not entirely sure what DAMWON wanted to do just there.
Well,
very peculiar path choice. As Kayle now going to come in and mess with score a little bit, try to make sure that Agatha resets.
Yep, she does so. Undertow going to land onto Nuguri there as Smeb. No vision. All the vision in the world here for DAMWON.
Oh, man.
Smeb moving on in. Only level 5. Canyon gets in. Good double knock-up. Smite comes out from score to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but Canyon's going to be able to take him down. Smeb going to flash, but not before the stun registers. As now he's going to get taken for the double kill. ShowMaker diving on forward. BeryL has no mana. He just has to try and walk away as best he can. Praise Seeker lands. What? Huh?
Oh, he tried to flash for level 6 to get back in.
Instead, it just looked really silly.
Yeah, it looked really silly, but honestly, that was a potentially 300 IQ play right there, Al.
Yeah?
Not 200, 300.
Whoa.
Which is 100 more than 200, by the way. I can count.
Whoa, really? Man, how can you
know.
count with numbers that big?
Not quite sure.
You're crazy.
Next thing you know, I'll be doing MVP votes.
Well, I wouldn't say that. You don't have 6 sides, okay? Sorry, 5 sides. You need to be a 5-sided dice.
Watch it not actually have been for level 6, and
yeah,
his level up was just a coincidence.
I'm actually very perplexed as to why he flashed in directly the wrong direction. Well, you know, sometimes mistakes are made. It's not exactly the highest pressure situation. DAMWON do definitely want to get a victory here, to get momentum moving towards their first series in playoffs, which will be up against Sandbox Gaming. Definitely a good news story for DAMWON.
The bottom lane is doing quite well here.
Yeah.
For DAMWON in this game number 2. 14 CS lead right now present for the Ashe.
Well, Smeb also has a giant lead as far as the topside CS is concerned.
Yeah, despite the tragedies that have unfolded early on.
Yeah. And another good news story is the fact that it's 2 assists on the Kayle,
right,
not 2 kills. And that would have been really, really bad. Still, I find it amazing that Kayles always seem to be able to do this all around the world. And just get gifted early games. And Smeb's taking a hell of a lot of damage.
Smeb is, yeah, he's taking quite a bit of poke.
And level 6 has been hit now, so ranged form activate here from Nuguri. Not exactly level 11 just yet, where things start to get scary, and level 16 when they get ridiculous.
The sonic boom. Oh!
Alright, that's a good stun. Tower
yeah,
shot going
just
to come in there.
outside of the range of that turret.
I was finishing off a minion not actually landing onto the Kayle.
Yeah.
Thought that was actually coming in to try and take him down, but minion was still alive and still there. Close to being great timing there from Smeb, though. Shoutouts to him. Both of them with Sheens available, so Smeb wanting to use those procs to get aggressive. Use that E. A lot of extra damage down, but you do have to get into melee range with this Kayle. It's going to get more and more difficult as this game goes on, as we've mentioned many, many times. Canyon makes his way up towards topside. Oh, did he actually manage to sneak in there? He did. No pings coming out here from KT. That was very close.
And so Smeb doesn't know about this. We'll see if Nuguri can actually bait Smeb into handshake on a trade. Good star sense by both of these top laners. Wow, the ping.
Yeah, really nice.
Coming down on that second brush that Canyon was just recalling inside of. I think they might pull the trigger actually as soon as the cannon goes down.
Well, turret plate is taken here for Nuguri, top side of the map. That pressure is mounting for KT to make something work. Hookshot is going to get the stun there onto Nuguri. Remember, he does have the ultimate to keep himself alive for a little bit longer as Smeb. He's going to get taken down. 2 versus 1 for Nuguri, but it is going to be the kill. 1-for-1 trade. Score picks it up. Smeb's not going to be happy, and now it's going to be a free dragon going over to DAMWON and a mountain trade. Get that.
Yep, and now with the mountain dragon, let's see what DAMWON ends up RNGing there. Also, we're going to get the scuttle crab to boot. Next dragon of the game will be a clown drake.
Now, it's not the end of the world here for KT, because they still do have Camille and Ryze that can battle around together earlier than what DAMWON should be able to do. And the Olaf is in a great position now, 1-1-1. ShowMaker gets himself out just fine, and this bottom lane is just straight up getting trashed 2v2 on the side of KT.
And looking like a plate will end up falling here.
In favor of Tahm, Kench, Ashe, which is like the safest lane ever. So not only are they just crushing it 2v2, but they're also so safe. If something does go wrong, Canyon turns up. But BeryL's on the right side of the lane to keep himself alive. Score has to go home. No joy getting a gank topside. Cinder Hulk now completed, and Canyon does have his warrior enchant. Let's have a look at this one more time.
Smeb going in with the hook shot, lands onto Nuguri, tracks him in the prison. Nuguri says, actually, you're trapped in here with me.
Yeah.
As the ultimate does come down. Finishes off the kill onto Smeb. It is a kill and an assist that goes the way of KT, but DAMWON managed to get themselves some advantages elsewhere on the map, and now Kayle has a CS advantage up here in top lane.
CS advantage,
Item advantage.
and kill advantage.
Yep.
Assist advantage, item advantage,
Skin
klepto,
advantage.
just everything advantage. As our score just ships in the night, finds Canyon, who gets himself through the wall, max range tunnel to get on over and gets out scot-free. Oh, ultimate almost back up for Smeb. Thank you, observers, for letting us know that there was no way to lock Canyon down.
And so right now, 1.4 thousand gold lead here for DAMWON Gaming.
Yeah, it's not massive.
Yeah.
Especially with the bottom side going so well for DAMWON. Surprising that it's not bigger than that.
On the side of KT then. So they do have options to maybe make some plays across the map utilizing TP, but if they just continue letting everything unfold as is, this is not the type of early game that they would have wanted
No,
to have come from this, and so you have to look at their team composition and think that, well, this is not supposed to be the way that everything's looking right now. And so DAMWON Gaming are in a fantastic spot. They're the ones that are actually supposed to be down in gold at this state of the game.
Especially with this Kayle so free to just do whatever she wants. Nuguri's having a great time, much as we know he does on the Kayle in general. After that interview, we're certainly well aware of his feelings about the champion. BDD here in the mid lane, try and clear up this minion wave. ShowMaker makes his way up towards top side, clears out that control ward, and once again DAMWON have full control. Teleport's coming from SnowFlower as he does have the unsealed spellbook. And have heal ignite. Beautiful. The Sill Soul Summoners. If there's any old people still who remember that guy, he'd play Vladimir, and he'd pick heal ignite every time.
Lovely. Well, in this game, Gunblade almost completed for the Akali. Kayle and Camille both waiting on the Trinity Force. Should have it in just a bit here.
Yeah. Not too bad for Smeb. He's actually caught up in CS to the tune of about 10, something like that. And after getting killed 1v1 against the Kayle, it's definitely better than it could have been. Now Nuguri, with his plate, has his Trinity Force, has a couple of Dark Seals there as well.
What a way to float.
Yeah.
That floating animation.
Yeah, I'm okay with this particular Kayle skin. Ever since I realized that it was like one of the gunships from the Eclipse, that's when I felt like it was cool.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Lots of propellers and stuff.
DAMWON looking to get themselves the Rift Herald here. Don't think that KT are going to have any chance at contesting this, although BDD does have teleport available. Ashe is on the bottom, but
yeah,
I really doubt that
wow.
they should be able to contest
They're teleporting in. Canyon does manage to pick up Shelly. Tunnels away. No knock up to land as Nuguri. Damn, that was so close. So elegantly sidestepped there. To avoid that, as Nuclear throws an arrow into Gango. And that's him saying, down, boy.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what Gango was just trying to do. Ends up losing a lot of his HP. He's going to heal back up a decent amount on Bertha.
Yeah. Well, Shelly's thrown down on the top side of the map as the early game Kayle once again just being exceptionally strong. I don't understand how this always happens.
1,200 gold advantage there in top lane. Fantastic.
Yep. Just gigantic.
480 gold taken in plates. Not the most, but then again, this is supposed to be a team composition that wasn't supposed to get plates.
Precisely. And also, good news for KT fans is that not a lot of those plates are actually taken with Shelly. As you saw, it got down to 4 plates being taken, but it was just a little bit late on getting that charge. So those plates that did come in, I believe, were of Nuguri's own doing.
Smeb trying desperately to hang on to this turret.
Yeah, I mean, what are his options now, though? Like, it's just getting so scary here for the Camille to even enter lane, because after you've closed the gap, right, onto Nuguri, you've already taken half of your health bar. Then you get the stun in, you land the E, you do a bit of damage, and then Nuguri kills you. That's just basically how it works. becoming less and less options here for Camille as level 11 has been gained. And Nuguri raid boss status is slowly but surely getting here.
The thing is for me is that KT's close quarter combat champions are just not far enough ahead of their opponents, and so the Kayle is actually probably going to be a champion even very early on inside of the team fight.
Yeah.
Camille wants to be ahead of the opponents, and she's just not in this game. The Ryze as well.
There really is no true frontline here for DAMWON Gaming, but I feel like they've mitigated it so well by having BeryL on the Tahm Kench, because as soon as the focus comes in from KT, yes, the members of DAMWON are going to take a lot of damage very quickly, but Devour exists as an ability, and if you deny that first pick, get a few ultimates out of KT, then you just have such a huge advantage. Very similar to what we saw in game number 1 when BeryL had his MVP-worthy performance.
Well, in this game, like you're mentioning, if the Olaf or the Camille engage, it's all too easy for Tahm Kench to really just put a damper on that kind of an engage, and Kayle as well with her ultimate.
Exactly. You've got Devour and now you've got Divine Judgment.
And the thing is that all of KT's team composition are close quarter combat. The Ryze, short range, Lucian short range as well. And so you don't want to be up close and personal with an Akali and a Rek'Sai who are being backed up by the backline of Ashe and Kayle, when your carries cannot delete a member on the side of DAMWON.
Yeah. Sad story here if you're a KT fan. However, DAMWON are looking good for their match against Sandbox Gaming. Canyon needs to up his play just a little bit, but there is still punch waiting in the wings, remember, guys. DAMWON does have a lot of flexibility in their composition when it comes to the players that they have. SnowFlower trying to steal that one away, and I believe gets it. Nicely done. Had the smite that he'd put together for himself, still sitting on that ignite as well, and we'll go back to the heal now. That's a good news story. Still within touching distance is the goal. 3,000 at 17 minutes or 18 minutes is not the end of the world. Just the reason LS has been talking like that, guys, is because the composition for DAMWON just gets better and better. It's fine wine, whereas KT's comp is like cheese out in the sun. It's just going to get worse and worse.
Oh, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Have you ever left mayonnaise out in the sun?
No.
Oh,
that sounds even worse than cheese.
That is.
And look, it's not actually that bad. You know, you've got a Ryze, he scales pretty well. It's just having a massive range disadvantage against Ashe Kayle is just going to feel real bad as this game goes on.
And we're going to see how KT try to fight their way out of it, but really, I just imagine that it can be a bad news bear. Kayle, and looking to make a quick donation. Yeah, almost.
Considering it. Celestial Blessing did get himself back some health. We'll see what kind of build this is going to be. We've seen a lot of the crit Kayle, and it was Nuguri going for that exact build option as well, trying to go for 100% crit. Yeah. And 40% CDR by grabbing a Trinity Force, as well as a couple of Zeal items, an Infinity Edge, and then an Essence Reaver for good measure. ShowMaker's hunting Smeb down, but isn't going to be able to catch up to him. Hookshot a little bit too strong. As you can see, ShowMaker getting frisky now, top side of the map. Able to use his Twilight Shroud just to get some energy regen. And Nuguri gets this big, juicy minion wave bottom side. Feels real good as he's just hunting towards that level 16, which is only 3 levels away.
Well, so far here, Cloud Drake will be spawning in 1 minute and 40. Some of the items are just waiting to be completed for Nuguri, as well as Canyon on the Rek'Sai waiting for the Black Cleaver. And it's just basically, the onus is on KT Rolster right now to figure out a way.
And look, if you have a look at the farm, BDD has the most in the game. He's got his Seraph's transform. He has done what he needed to do. BDD has certainly got himself to a position where he can potentially carry. However, whether he's actually going to be wielded effectively as this mid-game draws to a close, it's when things are going to get difficult, because ShowMaker is... He's got his Hextech Gunblade, you know, he can go in and out of these fights with BDD and be pretty comfortable, and now, DAMWON, they figured it out. That flash was real cute. BDD gets out with his Realm Warp, and SnowFlower may not be so lucky. Didn't have to use his heal, though, so he's fine.
But definitely a trade that they're willing to take. You get the Realm Warp out of the Ryze, as well as this flash, and all that you had to expend for it was an Abyssal Voyage. As now...
And pressure mounts in the mid lane, right? Like, look at all of that damage that goes down there. Oh man, Kayle starting to get scary. wanting to complete the rapid fire cannon as item number 2 very shortly here.
Rapid fire is indeed completed. Oblivion Orb as well, and there is not a lot of magic resist present on the side of KT.
In fact, item spikes across the board here for DWG Gaming. We're very close. You just need a Black Cleave of Canyon here. Basically, you've got all 4 of the damage dealers doing a heck of a lot of work. Nuclear with his Runon's Hurricane and Blade of the Ruin King is very happily just working towards an Infinity Edge. Black Cleave is done for Gango, but now he's going to have a bit of a trough before a Zeal item and Infinity Edge are completed, and might actually have to build something like the QSS in order to keep himself safe from Nuclear throwing an arrow at him.
Tier 1 boots still for the Lucian as well.
There's the brown bags. BeryL comes over, Demolish Prop gonna come in. See you later, Alex mid lane. That is all too easy.
Gold lead continues to extend ever so slightly. Being retained very close to 3,000, but Nuguri now level 14 in about a quarter. I'm gonna give that a 14.2, 14.3 maybe.
Yep, have to count out the amount of spells he's actually got. I don't think he's actually picked up any level ups just yet. So hasn't actually found the RNG that he did the first time around. He's going to be okay with it though, he just needs to hang out in the lane for a little bit longer.
Cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah.
Is the next dragon. So, DAMWON Gaming now with a clowning Cloud Drake accompanying the Mountain Drake.
They're going to be moving real fast. And having that extra in-combat movement speed is actually fantastic for a champion like Kayle.
Yeah.
It's only going to augment that Celestial Blessing a little bit more. No stun to come in from the hook shot, and that is really dangerous here as Nuguri just happy to turn it around. Arrow is going to pierce the heavens, but not KT. Thankfully for KT fans, Divine Judgment goes down, but there's the gobble up, and he's going to be safe. The Ryze has found his way into this pit, but the Lucian, what was that flank? I don't understand.
No idea.
That was a disaster, and BDD is going to get punished for the errors of Gango as well. It has not been a Gango series so far here today, as KT just fall apart.
I believe that's a 5,000 gold lead now almost for DAMWON, who are making their way over to the Baron, and they have a great team composition for shredding through it. They have the Mountain Drake as well to bolster their damage. BeryL going on Tahm duty. He just needs to cape Olaf away from the pit, and without a blasting plant, there's no way for Score to get in.
Yep, he has no flash. This is just free for DAMWON, unless they feel like turning instead and getting a whole bunch of kills, but no. Their heads are in the game. They're going to be able to take down this Baron buff, and this is just feeling like lights out for KT.
Take a look at how it all happened here. Smeb wanted to go in onto Nuguri, ended up taking about 40% of his life before he even got started, being forced to retreat. Enchanted SnowFlower coming out scorched, being a bystander. On the right-hand side, Kayle ultimate comes in. BeryL using the Devour after the ultimate expires. Gango with the flank of the year ends up going down. And then DAMWON Gaming.
What kind of flank of the year award are you giving away?
The LCK MVP kind of award.
Okay, now it all makes sense. 3 minutes until that Cloud Drake is available. And look, Nuguri does a fair bit of damage, guys.
That was a lot.
Wait, how did Smeb do 0 damage? We watched him do damage.
Maybe they're calculating the mini Baron.
Okay.
Is that what it was? I'm not sure.
Might have been. I'm a bit perplexed as DAMWON are going to a Missile Voyage over his score. Ragnarok has to be procced, but look at this. Nuguri just straight up doesn't care. Can't ult yourself and still auto attack anymore. It is Divine Judgment, not Intervention. So he's not going to be able to keep himself safe underneath that one. Has to respect the inner turret's damage, but he's not going to respect its health bar as it gets obliterated. Nuclear do a fair bit of damage.
I think this is about to be all that she wrote. KT's team composition just doesn't have the fuel it needs to still contend at this point in the game.
Yeah, Canyon splitting in the mid lane. He's going to be joined by ShowMaker. Inhibitor going to be going down next is KT. How do they even get in?
They can't.
On Nuguri and Nuclear, I just don't think they can either. Absolute disaster here as KT have decided they're going to turn on the 2 in the mid lane, give up that inhibitor. No other options really here as, yeah, we do have...
Kayle 16.
Yep. And that is the aircraft carrier from the Avengers that I was talking about before. It does look like that, right?
It really does, yeah, actually.
And now they're looking to turn this tower into dust.
It is Captain Marvel now as well.
Yeah.
So Kayle is
Yeah.
level 16. So.
There we go, but now we've started up the fight. But there's the Divine Judgment. There's the Devour. And there is a well and truly alive Kayle.
Yeah.
And a Rek'Sai splitting top lane.
Round warp
we're
coming
going
in.
for it again. There's the flash from Smeb. This time it's Nuclear. He's going to be taken down. That's the long cooldown of the Devour capitalized on. Beat it. He gets the second. ShowMaker trying to do damage as Canyon dives on forward. Smeb is going to go down as now Nuguri gets into a great position. Double kill for the Akali. Dives forward with the Void Rushes. Now Canyon, he doesn't care about the concussive blows. Just wants to set up a double kill for Nuguri, and DAMWON turn it around.
And what looked like was going to be the major team fight turn for KT that might have kept them afloat in this game ends in disaster.
It ends the game.
Yeah, DAMWON Gaming are coming to raise the 2 Nexus turrets. KT is going to relegations, Atlas.
They are. It has finally been confirmed. DAMWON Gaming with nothing on the line in this series, just momentum. Moving towards the wild card match. They will take down this Nexus. They'll set up their best of 3 against Sandbox Gaming in a few days' time. A lot of momentum now for them, but none for KT, or heading towards the best of Challenger. And if you've been watching any of it so far, I know you certainly have, LS, but you guys at home, Challenger's looking scary.
Yeah.
This time around.
They're definitely the Challenger teams. It's just like the last season. They look like they can take out the LCK teams. And so for those that have not been watching, it's not like KT is just going to go down there and it's going to be a walk in the park.
No.
Same for Jinair.
No. Even more for Jinair, potentially. See Smeb still packing his things up. A well-deserved bow here for DAMWON.
And that's going to be it. And Kayle gets herself another win here inside of the LCK. And I do have to say that that composition, when it does fall behind, it does become quite good for Kayle.
Oh, yeah.
KT team composition.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And
I mean, we said that, right?
Smeb
It's do or die.
Really did not look very practiced in the Camille-Kayle matchup at all.
No.
And it was a very interesting pick. I was curious to see where he was going to go with it. I have not seen Camille versus Kayle, whether it be in solo queue or in houses or scrims or what have you. So I was really looking forward to the matchup, but it left much to be desired.
It did. And if he hadn't been able to actually get himself a decent lead against Nuguri, he had a decent early game. I mean, things after that skirmish, bottom side of the map, went a bit wrong, but before that, things were going okay. Unfortunately for KT, in the end, it was a 0-2, and it actually didn't look close. DWG really got over the top in game number 1, then game number 2 was no different. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that BeryL and Nuclear just played so incredibly well.
Yeah, they did.
They were so consistent, and the bottom lane of KT were never unlocked. You never had that opportunity for SnowFlower to make his famous roams and actually get himself into good positions. He was instead trying to go around with a watering can, putting out fires that were being started by the rest of DAMWON Gaming because they had so much space around that map.
Oh, that just made me really sad.
The fact that Umpty was looking on.
Umpty looked back at the stage like, I'm not going to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that was actually really sad. Like, he wanted one last look.
Yeah. It was 2018.
Oh,
2018, Umpty's team is going to relegation, and 2019, Umpty's team is going to relegation as well. There's a lot of Umpty's heart in relegation.
Humpty Dumpty fell off a wall?
Yeah.
Do you know that? Do you know that nursery rhyme?
I do
Humpty
know
Dumpty?
That. I do know Humpty Dumpty.
That's what I think of every time I think of Humpty's ID.
Me too.
I don't know what it actually means. Do you know what Humpty means?
I think it means that all the soldiers and the horses and everyone couldn't put him back together again. I think that's what it means.
All right, well, who gets MVP? I've given up on trying.
I'm not going to make a prediction.
Given up on trying to guess.
I don't want to make the MVP people look silly again.
All right.
I don't know. I guess you. I'd like it to just go to BeryL.
I think
because
it has to go to
for game 1.
I think
because
it'll
he made
end up
the
going
big
to Nuguri,
play.
though.
Yeah.
Of course, the interviewers they want to ask about Kayle.
ShowMaker could actually get it because he did a lot of work turning around this particular fight.
Yeah.
But look at BeryL here. Divine intervention.
Yeah, ShowMaker did a fantastic job inside of this fight. And you can see that DAMWON, they just weren't getting the memo.
Yeah.
As They almost get completely turned on. And watch ShowMaker turn this whole thing around. He goes into the Shroud on Akali.
Yeah, perfect execution,
thereafter.
goes through three
Yeah, they just
people.
couldn't get onto him. Canyon trying to say I'm helping. And then ShowMaker says, you know what, I'll just do it all myself. Nuguri, can he come over and help out for a second? So he is auto-attacking.
Yeah, and that was all about ShowMaker. Look at this.
Yeah,
Makes his way back in again.
It's the ShowMaker show.
Yeah, and Nuguri,
To
this fight and
the
through most of this game was an artillery cannon that got pointed towards members of KT by the other players on DAMWON game.
Because you know that Kayle pressed R at a few points in the game, you know that Nuguri needs to get the MVP award.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's just how it works.
I mean, we need to work out exactly which MVP vote is going to
what
trigger
is the
people
algorithm to decide? Here we go, hold on. You ready?
No.
You know it's coming.
Yeah, I do. I'm nervous. What does this mean? Hey, at least it's the last day. We haven't been super triggered by a lot of the MVP votes.
Not at all.
Like, before this, apart from the one that you made your Reddit thread about.
All right, well. ShowMaker coming in here, having to watch Canyon get put into another tunnel.
Yeah, he's under the ground in the death chamber, having the worst time ever. This is Nuguri getting 2 assists in the early game as Kayle when he definitely shouldn't have.
And Smeb, that was a pretty weird interaction, ended up getting stunned right at the end there. And ShowMaker doing his best to stop BDD from entering the fray. And right here, Smeb taking way too much damage. Kayle didn't have ult, which means that the Predator Olaf should have been able to get on top of her.
Yeah.
And then right here...
Didn't get the stun. That was the big deal.
Yeah. Auto attack twice. Kench Crystal Arrow ends up missing. Gets knocked up by the Braum ultimate, casts his ultimate as well. And this was a really nice save by BeryL. Gango again, flank of the ear. ShowMaker comes in and does quite a bit of damage, zones off the remaining backline.
Does a massive amount of work actually to ShowMaker on this Akali. It's been quite impressive.
It just, it feels to me like ShowMaker created his own spots.
Yeah, he did.
And made his own plays happen.
Like, this fight was all about ShowMaker.
Yeah.
It was just fantastic. Even able to come back in, follows the Void Rush alongside as well. Goes into stasis and buys time for Nuguri just to come in and say, well, you've just been baited by 100 health Akali. Get out of town. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but the game didn't go for a whole lot of time.
Yeah, 26-55.
And somehow Nuguri managed to do 15k. Not quite the 45k damage that he did the first time around. However, that game went about double the time.
Well, that is going to be it for the last game of the 2019 Spring Split.
We will get to have a chat to a couple of the MVPs here from this series. We will be announcing who that MVP is in 3, 2, 1, and go. Nuguri's going to pick it up. Yeah, it landed on his side of the 5-sided dice, I guess.
Are there 5-sided dice?
I don't know, maybe.
I've never seen that. I've seen custom, like, 8.
We'll have to talk to someone that knows more about D&D than us.
Okay.
I've played it a little bit, but I don't know about the 5-sided dice.
Some colors are moving on the screen right now.
Oh, damn right they are. As we've seen these highlights about 3 times so far, so you guys know what's going to happen, but this one was the worst of them if you're a KT fan.
Yeah, this is it.
Coming in, having a really
this is getting excited about KT.
And this is also apparently Nuguri's MVP highlights, that it's all about ShowMaker making amazing plays. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Hopefully things change for the playoffs, where we're still going to be doing MVPs, guys. It doesn't actually count towards numbers for the regular split. It's for the playoffs. But let's throw it over to G-Sun for some interview translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This will be the interview with ShowMaker and Nuguri from DAMWON Gaming. This was the last game of the regular split. And it was a victory on your side. How do you feel about that? Yeah, I just want to make a good end, and we are able to pull that off, so I'm really happy. And Nuguri, today you also played Kayle once again. So how was today's game overall?
번째 판에 좀 고생해가지고.
Well, actually, game 1, I had a bit of a rough one.
두 번째 판 그래도
But game 2, I was able to kind of come back with Kayle.
판에 못한 걸 좀 보답한 느낌이라.
So I was able to kind of, well, make it up to my teammates because I was really sorry in game 1. ShowMaker and Braum in game 1 was awesome. Well, it was the first Silas after the 9.6 patch. So how was today's matchup up against Silas? Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't had a lot of matches up against Silas, so I was a little bit frustrated since it was open. But I was able to kind of do great plays with the champions that I'm confident with. Yeah, the Silas actually in the mid lane made brought a little bit of trouble to our pick and ban. Well, when you're facing up against Silas with LeBlanc, Silas is a melee champion, so well, you have to dodge all the CCs and farm well. I'm seriously, this is how you win.
오늘 정말 말씀해 주신 대로 그 장면 많이 보여주셨습니다. 특히 바론 치던 KT 견제하다가 실패로 살아나갔던 장면도 인상적이었는데요.
So there was this moment that when you guys were trying to stop KT players doing Baron, and you guys were able to actually get that Baron, and that kind of was the biggest turnover.
그때 약간 저 렉사이 견제하려다가
Well,
렉사이가 저 궁이랑 강타로 죽여가지고.
well, that was the moment I died from Rek'Sai, right? Because I just wanted to, well, just push Rek'Sai out of the Baron's pit, but he actually used his ultimate and killed me. But then my teammates told me, well, Rek'Sai has no smite, so we were able to go back to the Baron and take that. Well, however, Kennen was very intimidating during the games. So how did you manage to disengage from him? So we have 3 players alive, and there was Silas and Kennen. So we were using our scanner, so we just wanted to catch someone out. And Kennen was in my vision, so we were able to pull that off. The last team fight, we were doing so well in the very downside of the zone. So was that all planned with your teammates? Like you're gonna stay in that position? Well, they actually made a really good engagement with the stolen Tahm Kench ultimate. But you were playing so much aggro and assassinating the damage dealers. Well, at that moment, I think they didn't have TP, so I thought that they don't have a firm initiation skills. But I didn't expect them to steal the Tahm Kench ultimate and make a flank. But our teammates made it. Were able to just run away from it. So I have done nothing. It's my teammates that have done so much work there. And let's move on to game 2. You saw your very confident Kayle pick. Well, during the pick and ban phase, well, we thought that Kayle is the best champion in that situation. I think Kayle is a good champion. But Smeb played Camille, which is not a mainstream champion. So how was the top lane matchup? Well, game 1, Kennen did a lot of roams and dominate the Rift. Well, and so I thought that he was gonna repeat that in game 2 as well, like killing me in lane and roaming around. So I was expecting that. But there was this awesome 2v1 moment on your side. You were like buying time for your teammates and so on. Well, we had vision over there. So we actually just wanted to stop scores from taking that Baron, but we just opened team fight and it was quite a good angle for us, so we were able to win that skirmish over there. Well, as I just told you, I just wanted to stop him from farming, but we were able to pick up a lot of kills there. Game 1 was about going back and forth, but game 2 was pretty dominant. So what kind of feedback went back and forth? Well, game 1, after game 1, I thought that if I just kept Smeb in lane, well, we will be able to get a better game this time. So that's the focal point of game 2.
2세트만큼은 완벽하게 가져갔다고 생각을 합니다. 그 가운데 또 너구리 선수의 케일이 있었죠.
Kayle performance was on point once again.
이제 플레이오프에 진출을
And you guys are going to playoffs, facing up against Sandbox.
뜻깊은 와일드카드전이 되지 않을까
It's gonna be a very meaningful one for you guys, right?
샌드박스랑
Sandbox at the Challengers Korea, I mean, or during the splitting splits, we had very close games. Like we always lost in 2-1 scores. So this time, I really want to pick up a lot of victories against them. What about you, Nuguri?
일단 샌드박스가 이제 거의 이틀
Well,
후로
Sandbox,
바로 경기하는데
we only have like 2 days to prepare, so we're gonna use our time really valuably, and we're gonna do our best to preparation. And I heard you guys got a message from FLICKR players.
세난 선수가
Well, Senan, yesterday
메시지로
we made a group chat saying fighting. Please win them.
그래서 그냥 하던
Please
대로
defeat them.
했는데
So we just did as we normally did, and we were able to win today.
아프리카 선수들에게도 아주 행복한 경기였을
I think it was also a very delightful moment for FLICKR players.
마지막 경기에
And
와주셨는데
there are a lot of fans out in the low park to support you guys. So any message for them?
저희 이번에 승격한 팀인데도
Even though we are a newcomer,
많이 와주셔가지고
I'm really happy that a lot of fans made it here to support us. I'm really thankful, and I hope to see you guys in the next summer split as well.
선수도 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
And Nuguri?
오늘 이제
Well,
시즌
today
마지막 경기
was the last game of the regular split. I'm really happy that we were able to pick up a victory, and I always appreciate all the love and support from you guys.
오늘 승리 다시 한번 정말 축하드리고요.
Once again, congratulations to
금방 돌아오잖아요.
ShowMaker and Nuguri. So, and I hope you guys perform well on the Wildcard series. Thank you. So that was the interview number 90, the last one with Nuguri and ShowMaker from DAMWON Gaming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ji-sun, for that interview translation. Good to hear from ShowMaker and Nuguri, although I would have really liked to hear from BeryL, to be perfectly honest with you. And wouldn't have minded which one got traded out, to be perfectly honest, because in both of those games, they did have good moments. I think Nuguri maybe, he's a great interview, but maybe didn't deserve to be up there that time around, just because the rest of his team were playing very, very well. And finally, we have it. This is the end of the regular split, and these are the standings as you see them. KT Rolster, for the first time in the organization's history, will be in relegations, fighting for their lives, alongside Jin Air Green Wings against the two best teams coming through from Challengers Korea. And this is going to be the playoffs. Wildcard will be starting on Wednesday, so only a couple of days to wait until we get Sandbox versus DAMWON. You saw the guys talking from DAMWON about the fact that it was 1-2 last time they were against Sandbox both times around, but I feel like things have changed. Things have evolved for this DAMWON squad. We'll see whether it can go back to the win record that they had in Challengers before that, which was much better against Sandbox.
And there's a bit of time from when the wild card and the finals first start. So Griffin, what are they going to prepare during all of that time?
2 days is what DAMWON have, and then 2 weeks is what Griffin has. Although they don't know who is going to be up against them, it's probably likely that it's out of either SKT or Kingzone if you're a betting man. But we'll see what does happen. Guys, you don't have too much longer to wait before those playoffs do start, but that is going to be it for the regular season of the LCK for Spring 2019. It's been so nice having you here at Lowell Park for the first season, and so great having you over here as well, LS. You took a bit of time off the casting desk, and thank you so much to Brendan Valdez and Christopher Papa Smithy Smith as well for helping out during this season. It was a fantastic one. Today was a weird and wonderful experience.
Yes,
we got to go across the event horizon of a black hole, and we discovered that it was a Griffin 2-0
well,
in
it's on
pretty
the other
demanding
side
fashion.
is inaccurate MVP vote. That's what.
Actually, oh my god, that is what happened. That's how that happened. All right, good night, guys. We'll see you for playoffs in a couple of days.
You take me higher when I feel low. Make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, oh, with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. Together we'll be winning.
한타 개 잘했다. 나이스.
최고의 결승전이 펼쳐